Hey guys, it's George Kostic, and this is going to be a quick rant video. I usually don't do these as I, fumble a lot on my wordings. But this is a big win for a lot of people like me who have been in the 3D industry for a long time, since 2019. I don't know if that's a long time, but it's kind of for me because I was in high school when I started using Blender, and that was the beginning of my journey, and I loved every single second of it. So I'm glad that Blender is community ran, as they mentioned, it's made by humans for humans. They have a pretty strict stance on AI, and I love that because today's fucking companies, they just want to butt fuck you with any new AI feature, and I fucking hate that because like I don't want my shit to have AI. Are you kidding? Like now and then now not and then, like seriously now every time I want to use a new service, I have to research like, oh, does it use AI, or is AI very deeply integrated? And it's like I don't want that. If I want to use AI, I'll install an extension or I'll install a different software that does AI with it. But it's like whatever. I really fucking hate it. So this is a big win for 3D artists, and I love it. I'm glad that they actually take feedback, unlike most other fucking companies, and it just pisses me off. So I'm glad that they backed it up. But I don't know if I mentioned this. This was about how Claude funds Blender, or was about to fund Blender. I think they do, but it's not as integrated as they want it to be. So I'm glad Blender gave them the FU, and they deserve that, in my opinion, because you should keep it. In my personal opinion, you should keep AI as far away as from human creation as possible, because there's no human emotions and aspect, and I don't need to get into the shenanigans. I think if you're anti-AI, then you understand. And I want to talk, kind of change directions, talk about Andrew Pice's post and his advocacy for AI. I think it's a bit delusional, in my opinion, because I've been watching this guy since 2019 as well, because I learned a lot of things from him. And I don't know, he's always been very pro AI, but back then I think AI was a lot more exciting because it was more of a tool. But today's like standards, it's not a tool anymore, right? It's truly a replacement, because AI wants to do literally everything. You know what I mean? It wants to do from point A to all the way to point Z. You know what I mean? So I think it's ridiculous that this dude is still very pro AI, and even though he understands how much AI has changed the current landscape, and you're not doing any work as an AI artist. I can't believe I'm saying fuck this shit. It's like there's not such thing as an AI artist because you're not doing shit. You know what I mean? So I think that's what Andrew Price has been turned into, unfortunately. Maybe not so much his channel, and his channel is kind of still pure, 3D arts. But in terms of like him doing workflows and whatnot, it's unfortunately has become a lot of it like 100% AI. So he argues about that. This is actually not good. That they backed out of Claude funding and they're going in a different direction, and that's not a good thing, because he wants to see AI tools getting I don't know, more integrated into these softwares, and I think it's ridiculous, because I don't know, dude. This guy just like really pisses me off. That he's how pro AI he is in terms of these things, and I feel like as a 3D artist, that like probably not a good thing, right? I don't, again, like it's just it really annoys me. So if you sign up to his newsletter, you can read this, and I think it's fine. We can talk about these things. Like, I mean, I have my opinion, he has his own opinion, and everybody else has their own opinion. But I think they're more of in a black area. There's no gray area when they talk about AI. I don't know if he's like being paid by AI or whatever AI company, but so yeah. Another thing I want to shift into is actually this video that came out 2 weeks ago, and I watched all of it, and he doesn't make anything. Like maybe other than the little bit structure that he makes, and then everything else is made by AI. I mean, like he brought a point, is the person paying you for judgment or for creative work or something like stupid shit like that, and it doesn't matter, right? Because when there's the ability for driven for artists and whatnot, and emotional creation, is that audience tend to enjoy a lot more, right? So but this just feels very human, not very human. So he made this, by the way. Any of you or I, you can have like 2 days of Blender and make this shit. And then he generated and stuff, and it's ridiculous, because this stuff is trained on actual artists, right? You know what I mean? And it's funny, I think he mentioned like, oh, this is not a replacement, but then at the end he's like, oh, it's like having a whole team. And I'm like, that literally implies a replacement. So he's like, well, this shit takes me a week or 2 months to make this. It's like, well, yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to play the video. Well, yeah, that's fine. Like, let it take you a long time. It's like that is the pure aspect of learning 3D and become a 3D artist. I think he brought a good point here, in my opinion, actually. And my argument to that is that he was talking about how he had to learn all this shit just to eventually change to a principal BSDF. But those are not like, those are tools. They're very, very, very minimal tools just to kind of help you a little bit. But AI is not. You know what I mean? It's literally not. It literally replaces everything you do. That's not the same, right? If AI maybe, I mean, I think there's already softwares like that, like makes your topology a little better, or maybe adds a little spice to your art. You know, that's fine. I think that's okay, right? I'm not very against AI to the point where it's like big no-no, but if it's like a tiny bit, you know, that's fine. But this sort of workflow is ridiculous. Like he doesn't do shit. You know what I mean? It's like I think it's ridiculous. I don't know, man. It's horrible. And yeah, I love to comment here. I do retract that uh, this sentence right here. I talked about how 2019 Android would make fun of 2026. I don't think he would make fun of him, but I think he would be shocked how pro AI that guy is now than before, because he's made a couple talks about AI, and that was way before AI was a very I don't know, like not a big thing, but how it is right now, and just in my opinion, it's not. Yeah, it's not good. So, yeah, that's it. As always, I hope you learned something, and I'm glad people are saying a fuck you to Claude and AI into our 3D software. And yeah, I hope Blender doesn't change their mind, because I've heard him seeing companies that once they see too much money, they kind of change their mind, like, oh shit, that's too much money. We can't say no. And yeah, I hope they stick to the community and generally listen to the community. Otherwise, if they ever actually do change to AI, I hope there's another tool that can disable or something. I don't know. Maybe we all can come together and make an actual open source software that doesn't deal with AI. So yeah, I hope you learned something. And until then, my name is George Kostic.